Hi guys, this is my train of thought and I just want to share it with you. So in the opening scene of the I Pet Goat 2 video, we have this goat that pops out of this box and he's wearing this bell around his neck. Stay with me. In this scene, in the I Pet Goat video, there's also a bell that's shown in this kind of cage-like structure that he's in. And if you follow where I'm going with the mouse, this could be a reference as follow where I'm going with the mouse. So we go up, around, down, and back across, and then you've got the little ringer down here at the bottom. So there's a massive bell there, where this blue Shiva Kali figure, dressing in all these different animals and dancing around, it appears to be jumping up, could be depicting the launch of a missile. Now, when I think about those two scenes with the bell references in them, I think about Big Ben, because Big Ben has the nickname for the Great Bell, and Big Ben fell silent on August the 21st. I'll just get to where it says that. So on August the 21st, a 4-year schedule of renovation works began on the tower, which are to include the addition of a lift. There are also plans to reglaze and repaint the styles, with a few exceptions, such as New Year's Eve and Remembrance Sunday. The bells are to be silent until the work has been completed in the 2020s. So I looked at the date, August the 21st, of when Big Ben went silent, and calculated it to February the 14th, which is one of the days that I'm looking at coming up in the near future. It's 177 days from the bells going silent to February the 14th. I find that significant because 7 and 70 and 17 and 777, they come up a lot in terms of history and have a lot of relevance in terms of the Bible and to God. There were 7 angels, 7 bowls, 7 seals, 7 trumpets, and a number of other sevens that have been displayed in the Bible. So there's, significance and importance relating to the number 7. On the same day, August the 21st, was the day that we had 2017 was the day that we had the solar eclipse, the Great American Eclipse, which was another significant event, something that doesn't happen all the time, and I think a sign that was shown in the heavens, as we're told would be shown in the Bible. Now, obviously, eclipses aren't unusual, but the fact that it was crossing the entire continent of the United States was. That kind of, thinking about the bell and Big Ben kind of made me think about the movie London Has Fallen, and on their artwork, on their movie, they have a depiction of Big Ben kind of being destroyed, and there's a lot of movie references to Big Ben being destroyed as well, which I haven't brought up, but you guys can just go on YouTube and type in Big Ben destroyed, and you'll see all these different kind of movies that have shown that. That also made me think about the movie 2012, where in the scene where he's kind of running away from Yellowstone exploding, he's trying to find this map that he's been told about that takes him to this arcs in China, and he holds up, the only map he holds up is this one, the London Underground map, and that just makes me think about the BBC Three kind of documentary where they showed a bomb had been placed underground and detonated at the Olympics. But obviously Olympics 2012 passed, but at the moment there's another Olympics going on, which is also appears to be referenced in the I Pet Goat video, which could have links to what they were saying was going to happen in 2012, but actually didn't. So I'm just going to play a little bit of it. I've muted the sound because probably get copyright for that. So it goes underground into this ventilation system, and here's the bomb. That is the Olympic Stadium. And then the bomb goes off. And obviously a lot of death and everything happens. But that was depicting something happening in the summer of 2012, which was when the 2012 Olympics was happening in London. But as I've said, there's another Olympics taking place in a different part of the world, South Korea. But, you know, there could be a reference to the Olympics there, but not the Olympics we were thinking about. So I think that's enough. So in reference to thinking about an attack on London, it led me to the 7/7 bombings that happened in 2005. And obviously with the sevens that have come up in, you know, the recent history, 7 of July, which is the seventh month, and then you got 2005, which if you take the 2 and the 5 and put them together, you got 7, so triple sevens there. And it kind of stuck out to me because when I put it into date calculator for the 14th of February, the dates between them are 4,605 days, but in years it's 12 years, 7 months, and 7 days. So again, you've got these sevens coming up, and as I've talked about, the significance to the sevens is just it's all over the place. So I'm keeping a close eye on a lot of things related to 7. Um, just in a little bit of history I've already talked about before, but I'll just quickly cover. On the 14th of February, it will be 70 years and 77 days since the UN declared Israel a sovereign nation. It will also be 70 days from the date that Donald Trump declared Jerusalem Israel's capital, and that was on December the 6th, 2017. In terms of when Big Ben went silent and the American eclipse I've already talked about, it was 177 days since that happened. And maybe not in relation to 177, but it has been 144 days since the Revelation 12 sign. So there's a lot of significance in terms of dates and numbers popping up when you calculate them between certain events happening on February the 14th. And I'm just going to say now, I don't have any confirmation that something's going to happen on February the 14th, but I think you guys will agree there is a lot of references to something happening in February. There's the 14th, the 15th, the 18th, and just say the 16th or 17th. So from the 14th to the 18th, there seems to be a lot of signs pointing to that kind of time frame. After the 7/7 attacks in 2005, 10 years and 7 days later, they did a mock terror attack from Aldwych Station, which is a station in central London that has been closed for some time now. But in reference to something happening in terms of a bomb detonating from underground, this station would be an ideal place to probably launch it from. Whether they place it there in that station underground or whether they use the now closed train network to take it somewhere else, I don't know. This is just an analysis, I guess. Just a thought I was having. As I said, I'm taking you on kind of like my train of thought and where it kind of led me to. So this video kind of focuses a lot on London because I just feel like I do talk a lot about stuff happening in North Korea, South Korea, China, Russia, America, but I really kind of focus on my own hometown, and I feel like I should. So I'm just making at least one video to warn the people of London that there could be potential danger in the next coming days. In terms of this scene here, there's been a lot of analysis on this scene. One of the things I want to point out is basically the color reference that they have here. Now, when the scene starts, we've got predominantly blue as the color that is being displayed here. I think you'll agree. There's obviously black, white, red, yellow, but the main color is blue. When you actually play the video. Just gonna mute it. As the scene progresses, the next predominant color or another color to come in is the red. So you've got blue and red there. And obviously, when you think about blue and red as a color scheme, you kind of think police, ambulance, fire brigade, emergency vehicles, emergency, something happening. And I think that could be what they're trying to convey in this scene by using the blue color scheme and then the red color scheme. And then in the background, you've got the exit, which is lit up. And if you take the blue and red scheme, and blue begins with B and red begins with R, and you add that onto exit, then you've got Brexit. And obviously, a lot of people out there kind of have the same feeling that the UK leaving the EU is gonna, bring some kind of attack on Britain to kind of, make them stay in the EU. Because obviously the whole point is to get a one world government. They don't want countries going off by themselves and stuff like that. So that could be a reason as to why. Well, it's all planned out years in advance anyway, so it's not really a reason. It's just another part of their puppet show, another part of their play, another chess move on the board. Sorry guys, I just wanted to add this part in. As I was watching the video back, I was kind of struck by how the European Union countries kind of appear to make up what looks like a scorpion in an abstract reference. The main part of the focus being on the tail that bends round, and even the little parts of the countries that seem to kind of make up the stinger of the tail itself. And it looks like Britain, being the only country that's leaving the European Union, is in the path of a scorpion and could potentially get stung. So that's what I was kind of thinking about in terms of the blue and red scheme being emergency, and blue and red, obviously B and R adding on to exit being Brexit, and potentially some sort of emergency happening. When I looked further into that, I looked at the date that it says here on Wikipedia that on the 29th of March is when the UK government invoked Article 50. That date from to February the 14th is 322 days. And that number popped up in another one of my research videos that I did before. And again, it references skull and bones. At least it's one of its meanings, one of the main meanings that pops up when you search 322. And obviously Skull and Bones is a secret society, and part of their members included George W. Bush and his father. And obviously George W. Bush is referenced a lot in the iPad Goat video, particularly at the beginning, where he's dancing around the classroom, being a kind of distraction in the beginning, and just generally being there. So on February the 14th, Boris Johnson is going to be giving a Brexit speech, and the Tories are saying that it's going to be a Valentine's Day massacre because it will clash with a Brexit speech from Theresa May. And that could be the real reason why they're calling it that, or it could be a coded subliminal message. Particularly, they have the Valentine's Day massacre in quotation marks here. So I've already talked about the Valentine's Day massacre before, and how there's been many Valentine's Days over the years that I've been alive, but I've never had this kind of thought about the Valentine's Day massacre being something that happened in history, but they could take the name of and apply it to something that happens in the future. I don't know, again, if that is actually what's going to happen. The 14th could come and it could just be a lovely day, people enjoying themselves with their loved ones. But then again, there's this potential for something else to occur, and that's what I'm trying to warn people about. If nothing occurs, then great, everyone stays alive. But if something does happen, then at least I tried to get some form of warning and awareness out there. This scene here, in reference to February, what I kind of discovered is that when the kind of roots are coming together to form the lotus flower, they form a letter over here. And I can't remember if I pointed out before or if it's been pointed out, but I'm going to point it out anyway. So it appears that the shadow of the root and the markings in the apple form an F right here. And again, I don't know if that is intentional, but a lot of Fs are being found. So there's this F that appears here in the apple, the F on the girl's dress, the F as the petals of the yellow flower. And then going into the classroom, you got the double F under the chalkboard, which I've been thinking could also stand for false flag. And February at the same time, as well as being sevens the other way around, kind of indicating February the 14th. And there's just a lot of intertwined coded messages that you're trying to unravel and put into some form of linear structure so that you can, you know, talk about it without sounding like you're just talking gibberish. And I hope that, you know, this train of thought is, you know, easy to follow. When we get to the classroom, again, not talking about the hearts and everything that's there, looking like something to do with love and possibly February the 14th of Valentine's Day. But I was looking at the chart that they've got here, the alphabet, and I pointed out before, and obviously it's obvious, that the A, B, C, D is missing, and the alphabet on this chart starts from E, which would make F the second letter of the alphabet. And if it is referencing February, then February is obviously the second month of the calendar. And I don't know if that is a direct association, but obviously looking at it from this particular viewpoint, it could be referencing February or F as the second month. So I just kind of wanted to point that out as well. And then I just started thinking about, because I was thinking about Britain and Big Ben and the possibility of some sort of device being placed underground and all the other references that I've just gone through. I was just thinking about Alice in Wonderland because I was thinking about Obama and the phrase that he said about Manhattan and a nuclear device being placed there, and how Manhattan is often kind of interpreted into Mad Hatter. You know, it's a kind of mixed up reference, but when you say Manhattan, people kind of like Manhattan, Mad Hatter. And the Mad Hatter is a character that was created by an English author named Charles Ludwig Dodgson, more commonly known as Lewis Carroll. And it could be that the whole Alice in Wonderland kind of theory with the Mad Hatter and the references that it has to Manhattan could actually be talking about London, England, the UK, Britain, United Kingdom, and all the other names that it's got for itself. So that's the end of my video. You guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and God bless.